My name is Jack Collins, and I am a secret agent for the SCP Foundation. I received orders to head to the site of SCP-003's discovery. This entity is classified as Euclid, meaning it is difficult to contain due to its unpredictable nature and complex interactions with its surroundings. SCP-003 consists of two related components of separate origin, referred to as SCP-031 and SCP-003-2. When I arrived at the site, the heat was unbearable, as the entity must be maintained at a constant temperature of no less than 35 degrees Celsius, ideally kept above 100 degrees Celsius. SCP-003-1 resembles a computer motherboard but is made of chitin, hair, and nails. Our tests revealed that this motherboard predates the earliest known circuit boards by thousands of years. SCP-032 is a stone tablet with mysterious runes emitting faint light patterns. The adventure began when we received an alert indicating abnormal changes in the entity's activity. The runes on SCP-003-2 had started emitting irregular light patterns, signaling a change in its state. My mission required extreme caution. Any failure to maintain the appropriate temperature could result in the entity's growth, making it more dangerous. In the event of a power outage, we had to use our body heat to bring the entity back to a safe temperature. "Jack, ensure the equipment is ready," commanded Captain Mulhausen as we approached the entity. We began by scanning the entity with X-rays and ultraviolet light to ensure it wasn't reacting unexpectedly. We had to be prepared for anything, as this entity could convert its surroundings into biological material. As we got closer to the entity, the heat seemed to seep from the surrounding area, as if it was drawing warmth from the air itself. Suddenly, the temperature dropped sharply, and SCP-003-1 began to grow. "No, not now!" I shouted as we scrambled to restore the heat. "Everyone, use your body heat," ordered Captain Mulhausen. We pressed our bodies against the entity, feeling the warmth transfer from us to it. The moments dragged by slowly as we tried to maintain skin contact with the entity. The ground trembled beneath our feet as we struggled to maintain the temperature. In those moments, we saw the entity begin to change shape, taking on the form of a brittle star 15 meters in diameter. It was terrifying. Sensory organs resembling eyes scanned its surroundings, and it started converting the nearby materials into an unidentified substance. "Keep contact," I shouted as we tried desperately to prevent the entity from advancing to its second growth stage. The tension was palpable, and fear hung in the air. At the same time, reports were coming in from the monitoring team indicating increased radiation activity from SCP-003-2. The team was working frantically to analyze these radiations to understand their effects and how to use them to stop SCP-003-1's growth. "Jack, we have a major problem here," shouted one of the scientists from the monitoring team. "The radiations are increasing abnormally, and if we can't control them, we might lose containment of the entity entirely." The tension was rising, and I felt the pressure of time mounting. I knew any delay could be catastrophic. "We need to act fast," I shouted to the team. At that moment, SCP-003-1 began forming additional limbs, resembling massive claws, reaching towards the equipment and nearby scientists. I knew we were in a race against time. "We need to raise the temperature now," I commanded the team urgently. There were moments of chaos as we tried to reconnect the power and activate the backup generators. Finally, the temperature began to rise slowly, and SCP-003-1 started reverting to its original state. These moments were exhausting as we watched every move, every change in the entity. Finally, after what felt like hours, we managed to restore the temperature to the required level. The mass began to shrink, and the new parts turned into a gray dust. We were exhausted, but we had successfully contained the entity. Returning to the base, I reflected on this harrowing experience. SCP-003 was one of the most dangerous entities I had encountered, but this was just the beginning of a series of adventures with other supernatural entities. In the following days, I underwent intense debriefings and analysis sessions to understand everything that had happened and how we could improve our procedures in the future. It was clear that SCP-003 was not just any ordinary entity. There was an incomprehensible force driving it, far beyond what we had anticipated. We sat in the meeting room with the team, reviewing every detail. "We need a better understanding of SCP-003-1's nature," and its interactions with SCP-003-2, said Captain Mulhausen. Any ideas? SCP-003-1 might be a form of advanced biointelligence, said Dr. Levy, a molecular biologist. It could be capable of analyzing and adapting to its surrounding environments instantly. And what role does SCP-003-2 play then? I asked, trying to piece everything together. Perhaps SCP-003-2 is a containment system designed to control SCP-003-1, responded Dr. Hawkins, a nuclear physicist. The radiations it emits could be a way to reset or slow down SCP-003-1's activity. This analysis made sense, but there were still many unanswered questions. We had to be better prepared in the future, as this entity was unlike anything we had ever seen before. Ultimately, this adventure was a harsh lesson in dealing with supernatural entities. I learned that we cannot take anything for granted and must always be prepared for the worst. This was just the beginning of a series of adventures that would test our limits and capabilities. I am Jack Collins, and this concludes my mission report on SCP-003. But this is not the end. There are more entities lurking in the dark, each holding secrets and horrors beyond imagination. And we, as agents of the SCP Foundation, will be there to face them, no matter the cost.